Air-Clips.com.
Okay, I've got some ATIS here as well if you'd like to have that at some point. Runway 28, the runway is wet. I'll put some basic stuff in here initially. The wind out of 320 is 6. And we've got a temperature of 13 degrees. 13. The QNH is 1014 still, which is set and cross-checked. Fleet source will be on the engines. And a takeoff weight we initially expect until we've got our final load sheet. 57.3. Cool. I've calculated from Sierra 1 and full length both, but we can look into Sierra 1 because it's basically a with the taxi shortcut, it might be that we'll have to focus on that.
Okay.
Cool. Let me compare that to full length. Takeoff 2, 80.4. Takeoff 2, 80.4. Full length. Takeoff 2, 80.4. So it is exactly the same. There's no difference in there. And so I've got a takeoff 2. No flex. Takeoff 2. Fine, we will calculate from Sierra 1, that is what we will take and put in there. So 32, 37 and 40 are our speeds. And they are set. We've got a trim setting of 4.2. Nope. Which is set as well. Got a message, data link, winds uploaded and data link flight plan loaded. So that is good. This looks quite okay.
The pre-flight checklist. Airplane documents.
Are on board and checked.
Emergency equipment.
Is checked.
Gear pins.
Gear pins are on board.
Overhead panel.
The overhead panel is checked. We've got ground power in use, although we're operating the ABU.
Okay. Clear shield.
Clear shield is checked.
Displays
are checked.
Ice detector test not required. Circuit breakers were already checked earlier. ACAS and info.
ACAS and info is all related checked.
Altimeters.
Altimeters are set with 1014. Currently we're reading 210 feet center question.
104 center checked. Center panel.
Center panel is checked.
Pedestal.
The pedestal is checked.
Rudder trim not required. Side sticks.
Oh yeah. Good point. Good that we have a checklist.
Yeah. That's exactly the reason why it's there.
Yes. Here we go. Checked.
Okay, check left. Oxygen masks not required and flight error test completed earlier. So pre-flight checklist is completed.
Excellent. Thank you. And then if you are ready for it, we can actually brief.
Go ahead.
Cool, so we'll start up with the performance here. We have received our clearance and we intend to go out of Dublin runway 28 with a ROTF 1 Alpha departure. Set the ambient conditions, nothing special actually. We've got a wet runway which we're thinking of, otherwise it's just average with 13 degrees, a wind 320, 6 knots, so that's just 40 degrees off, nothing really. We are able to derate, we'll take takeoff 2 on a flap 2 takeoff, and the bleed source is the engines, or are the engines. We've got the anti-ice off, trim setting for now 4.2. We'll wait for the final load sheet, and we've got our speeds posted with 32, 37 and 40, and I've set in the background for the manual 211 which is green dot speed. They have been set. We go for a standard acceleration of 1500 feet here.
Okay.
When it comes to our ROTEF 1 Alpha departure, and we keep in mind when we anyhow have a look at our performance that the takeoff from Sierra 1, and that is of course then on the longer runway if we go for full length as well, straight ahead on extended center line in case of an engine failure.
Okay.
So we'll have a look into that. Let's quickly complete this here. I'll pull up my chart. Taxi is nothing really too special. We're here at 311. We should be going out possibly via link 3 and then southbound down to the beginning of the runway. Not sure if that will be then via Alpha and to Sierra 1, or if we'll take full length via Echo 1. We will see what we get. Okay. And then when it comes to departure itself, it is the ROTEF 1 Alpha departure, and that is plate 10-3 Tango. It was effective of 31st of January, and that is basically a rather easy one. Seats require a minimum climb gradient of 535 per nautical mile. That's 9.1%, so that's not a problem for us at all. And ROTEF 1 Alpha for runway 26, we basically proceed Oscar Echo. Got a nice little picture here as well before we turn to the right, and then we go for Delta Whiskey November 29 before we proceed inbound to ROTEF. And we've been clear to flight level 980. Have to keep in mind that that's on standard QNH.
Okay.
Minimum sector altitude is based on the Dublin VOR, and yeah, it is to the west and to the northern part, 2,400 feet. And we basically just at the airport itself, we've got to the south the 4,000, so they're not applicable to us. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's the normals. In case of any non-normal on the takeoff run, whoever recognizes something will call failure. I will let you do the aborted takeoff as usual, as per our standard operating procedures. You will call stop my controls. You will, take the thrust out, bring the aircraft to a full stop, set the parking brake, and then probably you'll go onto the PA and tell the cabin crew, attention cabin crew stations. We'll sort out the situation we have, make a common decision on what to do. I'll have reported to the tower that we're stopping, and then we'll decide on the course of actions. Yep. See what we need to do, checklists which need to be done. Past V1, we will continue. No actions below 400 feet, with the exemption of a positive rate of climb. I'll ask you to select the gear up, and we'll see what this situation is. Should we have an engine failure, we just discovered that we would proceed just on the extended center line, and that as we've seen is in this MSA sector of 2,400 feet. So we would climb, I suggest 3,000 feet. That is in alignment with our final approach platform, if we should be coming back into runway 28. And we'll get some radar vectors, look for a holding point, whatever time is available to us. Any questions? Sounds like a plan. Super. Thanks. Perfect. Then I'll quickly look into our data link. Yep. We have probably... And I also disconnect the external power before they do. Excellent. And that's it. That's Ethiopian coming in here with a 777. So it's a short one, but nevertheless. Well, at least they're flying. Yeah, sure. But that was your first early morning flight, yeah, since those 3 months or something? Yeah, all of the other flights I've done were rather late, somewhere during the daytime. Yeah. Late morning, afternoon. And I've done 2 weeks ago, I've done a flight to Oslo, which was an evening flight. Yeah, but it's such a, well, for me, who wasn't even to the office during those times, weird feeling was to put the alarm clock at all, especially which is like at something past 4 in the morning. Yeah.
but as it happens so rare, didn't make sad at all.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I enjoyed that utterly, to get a little bit more sleep in the mornings and so on. Absolutely, absolutely nice. Yeah. It has a few little good things and so on. So yeah.
Boarding completed.
Yeah.
So I go to passengers quickly. If he needs to come, then
Sure.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Welcome on board this flight from Dublin to Riga. We are at the moment dealing with the final flight documentation, and in around 5 minutes we can close the doors and proceed for departure. Flight time to Riga today is 2 hours and 40 minutes estimate. Later during approaching Riga, I come back to it latest weather information and updated arrival time. And at the moment I wish you a pleasant flight. Thank you.
A takeoff weight of exactly 57.6.
Okay.
$136 passengers, which is pretty good.
Definitely, especially in those times.
Yeah. I think he's here. Can take the papers.
Next 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's 37, so you can go ahead and request it. Thank you very much, have a good day.
Not talk.
Edition 1?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. 01.
I reselected the speeds for you. The speeds are the same as they were previously.
Thank you. Excellent. That's good news. 32, 37 and 40. So I have here as well.
Good.
We can
Then
do before start checklists.
Let's do it.
That is the takeoff briefing.
Complete?
APU and or external. Yeah, an external power is disconnected. The oops. Beacon. And the park brake. Cool. I'll get us some clearance. Ground Baltic 6 Alpha 2 at stand 311 Romeo, requesting silent push.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, good morning, push and start is approved.
Push start approved, 6 Alpha 2.
Okay,
So
push
beacon is on.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2A firm, you can use tug release point Foxtrot.
Tuck release Fox, Baltic 6 Alpha 2 thing.
Let's go bit.
Tuck.
Yep, ground, we are ready, so can I release parking brake?
You may release your back brake, ma'am.
Parking brake released, you may start push to point Foxtrot.
Copy that.
Yep. And let us know when we can start the engines. And you can still select your modes on FMA.
Sure. I won't forget that. There's nothing up front.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, we're starting number 1. When ready.
When ready. And that was
Start
now.
left engine.
Left engine on. Oops.
That was me. That was me. Parking brake is set. Okay, number 1 engine stabilized. We're starting number 2. Start right engine.
Right engine on.
Ground flight deck.
Yeah, go.
Permission to disconnect toolbar.
You may disconnect toolbar, yeah.
Copy that.
Tray tables and seats are in their upright positions, your armrests are down, window blinds are open, and your seatbelt is securely fastened. For any additional safety information, you can check out the safety cards located in the seat pocket in front of you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please always pay attention to signs in the aircraft and the crew who's there to make your flight safe and
Thank you.
Okay, and now we have 2 engines stabilized, and you may disconnect yourself, and thank you for your help, and goodbye.
Thank you very much. All positions standby for takeoff.
Bye, thank you.
So I selected already backflow high, and we can continue with before taxi checklist.
Hydraulic 3A.
Auto,
3B.
auto,
2B.
auto,
The APU.
to go, and clear signal is received.
Super, then we can go with the flaps.
2 selected,
Anti-ice cowl.
auto,
Anti-ice wing.
auto,
The flight controls.
FMS performance, departure config that's related.
Related to APU still being on. Aft elevator. Rudder is fully expanded. Rudder's checked. Flight controls are checked. APU.
Goes off,
And the nose steer.
select on,
FMS.
coming up,
There we go.
set,
The trims.
4.312 green,
And the ICAS in info.
so that's all relevant and standard. Check.
With that, the before taxi checklist is completed. You ready for taxi?
Ready?
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2 taxi, please.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, taxi link 3 Foxtrot, Echo 1, hold short, runway 34 and runway 28.
Link 3 Foxtrot, Echo 1 holding short of runway 16 and 28, Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
Okay, link 3 Foxtrot.
Okay, we can get going.
Okay, left is free.
The right side is full.
And taxi light on.
Taxi light is narrow.
So I go left here and I take this one link 3.
IFM, that's correct. Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, you have cleared us via runway 28 and the Rotev 1 Alpha departure. On that departure route, we are passing Oscar Echo before we turn right, northbound if you want to say so. And I'm not quite sure, do you want to have the waypoint after Rotev?
No, it's the first waypoint, it's the Oscar Echo, is the one I'm looking for.
Okay, is that a standard procedure that you would request then?
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, A firm.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, hold short, runway 34 and runway 28.
Yep, we're holding short of runway 34 and 28. Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
I'll hold short of the runway 34. Left is still free. So take Foxtrot and the last one to the right, Echo 1, we're going to take a full runway. And we can do then before takeoff checklist.
Super. Cabin.
Ready?
Anti-ice.
Auto.
And the order book.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, monitor tower 118.6. Good morning.
118.6 for the tower, Baltic, to monitor, Baltic 6 Alpha 2. Auto brake.
Auto brake R2
And the ICAS in info.
is checked.
And with that, before takeoff checklist is complete.
Good.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, good morning, line up runway 28.
Good morning, lining up to 8, Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
So
Clear
we're
to
clear to
line up.
line up to 8, left is free,
And the right side looks free as well.
and lights and belts.
Lights. Belts complete.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, surface wind 360 degrees 5 knots, runway 28, clear for takeoff, bye bye.
Clear for takeoff, runway 28, Baltic 6 Alpha 2. Bye-bye.
Clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, you can keep it rolling.
Okay. Then it is zero controls.
My controls. The auto throttle is on. You ready?
Yep.
Check.
B1.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up selected.
First two.
Checked.
First.
Checked.
Flight level change.
Checked. And I'm going to contact them. Lower North, good day, Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2. We're passing 2200 on ROTF 1 Alpha.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, radar identify, climb flight level 230.
Climb 230, Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
So 6 Alpha 2, passing altitude 3000 feet, turn right to ROTF with free speed.
And when passing 3000, right to ROTF free speed, Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2. 230 set.
And that's copied when passing 3000.
Okay.
Cool. Select flap 1, please.
Flap 1 selected.
The autopilot is on.
Checked.
Passing 3000. We are clear to ROTF. Right turn. Heading
Check.
mode. Select flap 0, please.
Flap 0 selected.
Thank you. Maybe we can set up ROTF
Sure.
from the top.
So direct ROTF, confirm.
Thank you. And that is confirmed. Execute.
Executed.
Super. We can go for standard.
Standard. And I can offer you nav mode.
Yeah, standard.
Okay.
We can do it after takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist, wing test is not required anymore, and ICAS is checked.
Nice.
After
thank you.
takeoff checklist completed.
Excellent. ROTF 1 more time on top. Confirm.
Checked.
Execute. Nav. FMS2.
Check.
Heading auto. There we go, into the sunshine.
Through some CVs initially.
Yeah. Doesn't look as if there's anything troubling us.
10,000.
Thank you. Manual speed from there. Let's stick to the 250, and we can do suggest lights.
Okay. Lights are off and seatbelts to go.
Excellent. Maybe you can ask for 10 degrees to the right, just to avoid that fat one there.
Yeah.
To avoid.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, request 10 degrees to the right to avoid.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, 10 degrees right is approved.
10 degrees right approved. Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, thank you.
10 degrees, 036, heading.
Checked.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, report heading to Scottish 123.775, please.
We'll report heading 123.775 for Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, bye. Talking about this crisis period, that was a pretty tough lockdown, and Baltic states did it very well, as we already mentioned that. Early lockdown, and now the borders are all open for traveling, and myself already I'm looking forward to travel as a passenger on the aircraft. Initially we would start from our own Baltic states, because that's already, let's say, a change of situation, and that's a chance to make a nice small vacation over here without going really far out. And I think actually our Baltic states are really good in that, by the amount of beaches we have, by the weather what we have recent years. I cannot say anything negative about that. I think we have pretty nice summers, and okay, the winters are more challenging to get snow, but in the summers on the coastline, Estonia or Latvian or Lithuanian, any of those, we have so many resorts, and personally I'm really looking forward to go somewhere out for at least a weekend, maybe longer, a week or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. The three Baltic states in general are really, really beautiful to visit. I've been living here now in Riga since 15 years, and I've been traveling a lot. I've actually really seen a lot. Not only the three capitals, Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius as capital of Lithuania, but even in the countryside itself, the coastline, smaller little cities and towns and so on, and there's really a lot of beauty to visit and to see. The summer is here in full pride. Just in a few days from now we have midsummer. It stays light very, very long. The sun goes down or sets well after 2200, comes up in the morning at well, at 4:30 about, so there's only a very short period of darkness. There's a lot to do and to see, and the beauty of nature is just incredible. So you 72 million Air-Clips fans, I very much suggest that you come and join us on our route network and visit the three Baltic states. It is really worth it.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the Baltic countries are opening up, and operations are restored in Air Baltic, and actually we are already correct me if I'm wrong, but we're flying to Liepa already, and sooner or later, rather sooner, we add Palanga to our destination list, which are both nice resort cities of Lithuania and Latvia, and of course, most probably I wouldn't go from Riga to Liepa by plane, but for those who are coming abroad, that's via Riga a very comfortable connection to continue to Liepa and to Palanga.
Absolutely, you're fully right. Excellent ways to travel. So for foreigners coming into the Baltic states and how to say, having a limited amount of time, can't do everything by bus or by car, those are of course great opportunities as well to see more than just the capitals. The capitals are beautiful. There has been so much restoration work done since the independence or the regain of independence in '91. If you look at the city center specifically, that's mostly what tourists are interested in. It looks really fantastic. Riga, in example, is an old Hansa city, and the amount of restoration which has been put in there is just really, really great. And that's the same as I saw in Tallinn and in Vilnius as well.
Definitely, yeah. I can talk only about Tallinn, Estonia, my home country, and the old town is fascinating, beautiful. Also Hansa city, and I think the history of all the three countries was developing more or less in the same way. So they're done in more or less the same way. Beautiful old cities.
And talking about this regain of independence there in '91, of course that had a little bit of a development into that regain of independence. And one of them was this Baltic Way, which they had done, where they had over these three Baltic states formed a chain of human beings, of people who stood all the way this main road connecting all of these three countries up to the northern coastline there in Estonia. And to commemorate that, Baltic actually had painted not only this one, I'll get back to that in a minute, but two other planes in the Estonian and Lithuanian colors. Now, you as an Estonian, what was it when you saw that plane first and flying the Estonian flag?
Personally, I would say, egoistically, I think from the three aircraft. That's my beautiful coloring, of course, but they're all three of them. It's very well done and painted.
Yeah, the Latvians might disagree a little bit because the Latvian plane, and that's actually the one we're flying now, and with your walk around being on camera, the Air-Clips fans will all have seen that aircraft from the outside already. It flies the Latvian flag, and it had been painted in that special livery in 2018. In November, it was the 100th birthday of the Latvian independence, of the Latvian state as such, and that's where we as an airline painted this aircraft in that special livery, and it was a very, very how to say, special moment when this was then pulled out of the hangar, and it was displayed on the day of independence by flying over the Riga city centre, participating in all those celebrations which had been taking place then. And so a big pride for us as well as an airline to be able to participate in that way, that we fly the Latvian flag, and we have been flying it all over our route network. This plane has just been everywhere, and so that has been a very, very special moment. That of course is great that we were able to fly the Latvian flag after that independence celebration 2018 in November, just on our entire route network, and present how to say that we're not only a Baltic, and we're a Baltic, so we are a Baltic airline for the three Baltic states, but that we how to say, of course, proudly fly these flags of the three Baltic states. And yeah, so we did that of course with the Lithuanian plane as well. And
I was on 24th of February, which is Estonian Independence Day. I was lucky to fly Estonian livery aircraft out of Tallinn in Estonian colors. So that was another beauty.
How special is that?
Yeah, it's really nice from the company side that they arranged that. They checked those dates, and I think the passengers got pretty impressed that that's kind of present was on that day for them.
So yeah, that was a Tallinn-Amsterdam flight, and I think that should stick to a nice tradition, and we can keep on doing that and offering those beautiful liveries aircraft to the country's Independence Days to let the passengers have this a little bit more of a national feeling.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course they function as a sort of ambassador as well, carrying these flags, the colors, and of course the message around our route network that the people should come and visit us. Tourism is of course a very important factor for our states, but it is something which really works out very well as well, because we've got this great offer of variety, having these fantastic cities and at the same time the nature which you can visit.
Hello, and my name is Elena, and I'm working for Baltic a bit more than 3 years. And actually I missed my work when I was 3 months without my colleagues, without flying. And about when I started to think about the aviation, because more than 5 years I was working in office, and I really started to think that I need to change my life, because it was very, very difficult to work from Monday till Friday from 9 till 6 p.m. because I didn't see the life, because my life was only office and such a routine, papers, communication by the telephone, and nothing special. So I have one friend, she's working as well in Air Baltic more than 5 years, and I started to think that I need to join, to try my force and to join this atmosphere, cabin crew atmosphere. Then I apply for the Air Baltic. When I started to study for Air Baltic, of course, it was too many information. Yeah, all day from the early morning till the evening it took to study the information, emergency procedures, yeah, and it was everything in English. That's why it was a bit complicated to understand, because there are some abbreviations, some symbols, some our aviation words what we need to know, because other people even doesn't know what the word is meaning that, yes. So but it was very interesting. We have a great instructors, very friendly, very communicative, and information was enough to understand it clear. So my favorite destinations was Tel Aviv. For me it was complicated flying because it was a night flight. Yeah, but for me, for me it's better to wake up early in the morning. But I wanted to get this flight Tel Aviv, so I even didn't regret about it. It was happening at night because it was amazing for me. When I was in Tel Aviv for the first time, my expressions, my emotions was incredible. I was a happy person. When you are somewhere in the first time, you want just to laugh all the time, yeah. And I'm very emotional person. And yeah, it's the first impressions when I started to fly. And actually the schedule was not fixed when you are working in the office, so because there are people who cannot manage to do night flights, morning flights, because it's very hard to how to say to manage with such a schedule, yeah. But I'm feeling quite nice, especially after 3 months, like to say vacation. Yeah, I feel very happy that I can return to my work, return to my lovely colleagues, which I missed so much. Yeah, and I hope that we will start to fly, and will not stop. I really hope so much that this coronavirus will stop, will leave us, will leave all over the world, and all aviation will be happy. We will start to fly more and more destinations, and we'll see another colleagues from another companies. I hope to see you on our flights in Air Baltic. Bye.
Maybe it's worth mentioning all of these flight attendants around the globe who do their job on a daily basis in such a great manner. Now, Of course, how to say, a lot of things have changed. We have mentioned that already. And you might have seen that Zyga wore a mask in the cabin. She wears the mask. And all of these flight attendants flying with us on duty, they wear the mask on a constant base. That is for sure, first of all, something which is not really too comfortable. Second of all, of course, all this interaction with the passengers is not really there anymore. It is like with nurses, where just this little smile, first of all, comes so natural from the flight attendants, from the nurses, and they're just simply not really able to fully display that. You can sometimes read it in their eyes, but very often you really have to interpret that, and that is such a pity. We really value this, how to say, us as colleagues being able to work together so much, and specifically their attitude and service which they provide to the passengers and to us as crew up here in the front. And how to say, it's a very, very important thing that we're able to give each other a little bit of a smile. Thank God we can still do that as crew. A very, very big pity that they can't really bring that over now, having to wear masks to our customers, the passengers. But I'm sure that the passengers themselves still value that. And yeah, a big, big thank you to all of the flight attendants.
If you would like to become a colleague of ours, for example, cabin crew, then you can apply also in the future. So the requirements for cabin crew is that you have to reach 212 centimeters on your tiptoes, and you have to be at least 18 years old, as well as high school education. And of course, Latvian and English language is a requirement. The rest of the languages would come as a plus for you. Yeah, you can become a senior after 1 year. You apply, you send your motivation letter and your CV. Then it's evaluated after some while, and then you can become a senior. As I told you already, I'm a cabin crew team leader or a supervisor. That takes a little bit longer to become one. So its minimum requirement is to be at least 2 years to work as a senior cabin crew member. And it also comes with great responsibilities. There's a lot of work, individual work with your group, a lot of meetings, a lot of paperwork. But at least for me, it's very, very exciting, and I enjoy it every day that I go to work. It's very interesting to actually interact with your colleagues, to go deeper in their lives, in their careers, and also future plans. Also, we do have secondary bases in Estonia, Tallinn, and in Lithuania, Vilnius. And if you want to become a cabin crew member in those countries and capital cities, then you have to know either Estonian or Lithuanian language. But that does not stop there. Actually, we have few colleagues that became from senior cabin crew members. They became instructors, line trainers, and also even pilots quite recently. So really, the sky is the limit here, and the job is full with opportunities.
We still have a little bit of flight time ahead of us, an hour 24, the system says.
So from my side, I can say also a few words about the flight progress. So at the moment we are cruising in Norwegian airspace still. We're about to enter Denmark, and usually to the passengers around this time of in the middle of the cruise, I would make a short passenger address to inform them about the flight, where we are, what we're doing, how high we are. Fortunately, on this aircraft we have a nice screens for the passengers on which they constantly can see the progress of the flight, our altitude, our speed, the time until destination, so there is no really necessity for that. From my side, I can just say that we're cruising at flight level 390, which makes around 12 kilometers. Our speed above the ground is 450 knots, which makes around 830 kilometers per hour. Outside temperature shows to be minus 54 4 degrees centigrade. But yeah, we have the comfort of passing that information to passengers digitally, which was not a chance on a Q400.
Sure, by the little screens, which then, how to say, have a map on them as well. I'm sure that Patrick has shown that.
Yeah.
And how to say, the passengers are able to see all of that information basically live as we continue on our route. Of course, we have already been talking about that our pilot corps has significantly been reduced due to this COVID now, and unfortunately we had to temporarily release a lot of colleagues. Our flight school, the Pilot Academy, we have an academy which, how to say, offers to young people, well, actually to people of nearly any age, if you want to say so, from the very start of any flying experience, right up to the airline job, the education of becoming a pilot. And you would normally think, okay, in a situation like this is actually it for a pilot academy. Nobody would get going now. There are for now absolutely no jobs out there. A lot of pilots have been released by many airlines, but that will of course change at some point. And we are very, very sure and very convinced that the business will pick up again. And we have ambitious expansion plans, which we will follow in the next years. We've got a lot of A220s, so this brand new Airbus type on our delivery schedule. We are going to stick to that, and we are going to take delivery of these aircraft, implement them into our fleet, grow to at least 50 aircraft, and then serve an extensive route network. And for that, of course, we need pilots. And so we have continued pilot training. The academy is continuing to work. They are training these young people who are supposed to then join our airline at some point and find a seat in one of our A220s.
I think it's worth mentioning here also that out of the all 3 Baltic states, Air Baltic actually initiated flying and started up again quicker, and actually the first ones out of Estonia and Lithuania also. So there will be job for pilots from our pilot academy, very high chances, because the development is there already. And the pilot academy, they're not only for Latvians, right? So youngsters or not that young people anymore, they can join from all the 3 Baltic states and even abroad that one if they're willing to move in, to settle down and to fly for a Baltic.
Yes, that's totally correct. We've got foreigners from any state. What you would have to have is, of course, permission to be able to work in Europe. That is very, very important. You have to be able to pass your flight medical examination, which is a very important piece or a very important step to complete. You have to be absolutely healthy to be able to fly an airliner like this. And then secondly, you would have to be able to work in Europe, of course. And if so, then yeah, we are definitely going to be looking for pilots, and we are continuing to educate these people in the pilot academy to join us one day. And yeah, I'm here since 15 years, so I don't know what to say. It is definitely a place I like very much, and I very, very much enjoy the company, and specifically the development which we've made over these years to one of the leading carriers. Actually, we might not be the biggest, but we're definitely in many, many areas one of the leading carriers in Europe. We have the youngest fleet, we have the most modern fleet with the Airbus A220, fantastic aircraft. And if you look at our social media appearance, our presence in public and in general, the things and services we offer, I think we're very much up front.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic place to work. I really, really like it.
Talking about the age of the fleet, if I'm correct, our CEO Martin just briefed us on his last live briefing that I think we officially hold the record of the youngest fleet in the world now, with the Dashes and Boeings moved out from our fleet. So Airbus 220 is entirely the fleet, and the average age is 1.9 years.
And that is absolutely correct. Of course, Martin would be correct with that, sure. But that's exactly what it is. So before the Corona crisis actually kicked in, and we had to put entirely our fleet on ground, we were operating a mix out of 3 different aircraft type. We had a few older Boeing 737s, and we had 12 turboprops, Bombardier Q400s, and we have decided to have an earlier retirement of these 2 fleets. And what was anyhow the intention to put these fleets on ground and entirely have a modern A220 fleet. And we've just accelerated these plans and made sure that we use this opportunity not only to see the negative parts of it, but to see the positive elements, and just go for this exchange straight away now, and continue just with this single fleet, the A220. And I think that's a fantastic decision. Of course, there were a lot of pilots affected by this change, and it's probably worth mentioning that, we did not release the pilots in relation to the aircraft type. I mentioned that before. It was an important point for us to respect seniority and social aspects as well. And with that, of course, we were left to start with a majority of A220 pilots, because that was anyhow our dominant fleet. But we have a lot of Q400 pilots and Boeing pilots who now need to be put into training, and about 70 of them. And they are training, not all of them at the same time, naturally, but we are training them onto the A220. So it's a huge training effort as well. Luckily, we have received in November this most modern A220 simulator, brand new. It's been put up in our training center.
Yeah, I would say that it was actually perfect timing to get the simulator. Before the crisis, although we didn't know about the crisis at that moment. But now, to get back online and get so-called refreshment training, that it's so easy. We don't need to go anywhere, we don't need to send pilots anywhere. We can go through refreshments and all the recurrent trainings what are needed to get back online right in our training center. So that was very comfortable. I passed it myself to get back to flying. Before getting back to the aircraft after such a long period, although the license, the rating was still valid, the company kindly offered just extra session to get back in the cockpit, to the flight deck, in the simulator, to see how it looks, to get back online, and just to feel a little bit more comfortable, and only then we could fly the real aircraft.
Absolutely. That is, of course, the big advantage if you've got the simulator in-house. With this, downtime, we had, of course, travel restrictions in place. We were basically not able to even leave Latvia, because wherever you wanted to go, you would have to self-isolate there for 2 weeks, and then conduct your training. You would have to come back to Latvia and self-isolate there for another 2 weeks. So it would have been a lot of downtime anyhow. So with that simulator in-house and the ability to move a little bit more freely in Latvia, we were able to conduct those training sessions and just continue more or less, at least in that training effort. And then you have, of course, the situation that many pilots were not able to fly online just because we had the fleet on ground and we were not conducting normal line operations. A pilot in general has to do a certain amount of flights, or let's say takeoffs and landings, within a certain period, and the restriction is actually that you have to do at least 3 takeoffs and 3 landings within 90 days, and that's not even very much. So we have established a little rule in-house, which makes us train the pilots after even 45 days on some additional procedures, just to get back into the normal routine before they go out flying again. And that's very, very important. Another big advantage of having the own simulator in your own training center, just in front of your administrative building.
And so I just took the 10 with 7 knots, Temperature was 25, QNH 1014, and we've got a landing weight of 52.7.
Yeah, I have the same.
That is cool. And with the auto brake in medium, I calculated, sorry, this doesn't mirror too much here. What is that actually? I've got an operational landing distance here of 1571, and the speeds are 133 and 139 and 149, so exactly equivalent. Speeds are posted as well. I intend to land with flaps 4. All of the other issues are set in there, and we can have a very quick look into our arrival. Cool, so it's runway 36 and an ILS approach. We come in via the 10C5 Charlie arrival.
Check altitude sorted.
Yeah, we can request descent.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, ready for descent.
Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, descent to flight level 110.
Descent 110, Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
110 is set.
Let's check.
Vertical speed. I'll just start with 1,000 feet here.
Check.
That should be good. So, what did we say? The 10C5 Charlie arrival, and yeah, let me very shortly monitor here what we're doing here. Total descent alert. So we had a look at the performance. 10C6, 10C5 Charlie. We transitioned via Pivec for the ILS runway 36 in Riga on a flat 4 approach with 52.7 tons of landing weight. Temperatures 25 degrees. Perfect weather, cavalcade, just a very few clouds in the vicinity, and they are at the coastline. When it comes to Riga, there's nearly nothing there. Cavalcade is reported. 1014 is set. We're still on standard there with our altimeter setting. Okay. And then if we look at the 10C 5 Charlie arrival, then we come in via 10C, no restrictions there. We go over to Smarde, so Tango Uniform Kilo, or Tukums as it used to be. We have a restriction that we have to be above flight level 90 there, and then we proceed to Pevek, and we have to have an altitude above 2,500 feet there at Pevek. Yep. From Pevek itself, we turn in a left turn inbound to the ILS 36. Looking at the arrival data, we've got 108.1, which is correct for the ILS DME. The final inbound course is 358, standard 3 degrees, and that would go down to minimum of 240 feet baro. Should we have to proceed on a missed approach, then should we look here, final inbound is all correct, and we would go straight ahead on that missed approach, and we would climb 2,500 feet. At 1,500 feet or above, we can expect radar vectors for a new approach. Sure. Quickly, the minimum sector altitudes. In general, we have the 1,700 feet to the in the western sector and the 2,300 feet in the eastern sector. And then as we get closer to the airport, we've got the 1,500 in the inner circle. I've put the auto brake to medium. I do expect to vacate via Delta, the high-speed turn-off, and then we've received a message that we have stand 102. Okay. And so that would be then on Delta, a right turn on Foxtrot, and then we go into the pier there for 102.
Okay.
That would be it from my side. If you don't have any questions.
The fuel-wise, we have plenty on top.
Good point.
That's not an issue.
And even an important point to discuss. Exactly, our alternate is Tallinn, and as we can see, we've definitely got more than enough fuel on board. And we're good to go.
Yeah.
Fine.
Questions?
We can do the descent and approach checklist, please.
Descent and approach checklist: 3 anti-ice below 35,000 knots. Autumn FMS
is set.
Minima
are set to 40 bar.
Auto brake.
Auto brake is medium.
ICAS.
The ICAS is checked.
Approach briefing
is complete. If you have no questions.
No, the descent and approach checklist is completed.
Excellent, good news, thank you. I'll put the auto throttle back in. We can nicely see the clouds going along the coastline here of Latvia. And over there, just straight ahead, that's Riga, where you see a slightly fatter cloud, and but behind that cloud should be Riga, so it should be nice and sunny there.
So we didn't lie about the summer weather in Baltic states.
Absolutely not.
Coming from Dublin, where it was
what would be
much
there
colder,
better to
rainy.
do now than to go to Latvia and to spend the summer here?
Exactly. So it's 15 minutes to go, and they have several business class passengers, if you don't mind. I think
absolutely, very good idea, thank you.
Cabin crew, prepare cabin for landing, please. That is also done. You can see also the Tukums airport, straight.
Yeah.
I think it's golden times for the general aviation to fly around.
Sure.
With a minimum of restrictions. And a lot of airspace.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, descend 4,000 feet on QNH 1014.
Descend 4,000, QNH 1014, Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
4,000 sets, just a minimal change, so we can actually do that even with the VPAth engaged.
Okay.
1014 set and cross-checked. And this is basically this navigation device at Tukums Smarde, so that's where the airfield as well. We have to be there above flight level 9S0. It's just up in front of us there, the airport, a little bit outside of Riga.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, any chance for a free speed below flight level 100?
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, 100% free speed.
100% free speed, that's copy the Baltic 6 Alpha 2. 100.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but check speed, so the speed is checked accordingly.
Yeah, speed is checked. It's because of the 250 below flight level 100. So we've got free speed, that's copied.
And the cabin is ready.
Excellent, thank you.
10,000.
And lights, belts are on already, thank you.
Completed.
Checked.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, descent altitude 2,500 feet, via Tennessee 5 Charlie, cleared left-hand ILS approach runway 36, report established localizer.
Descent 2,500 feet and via Tennessee 5 Charlie with the left-hand turn, now we're cleared ILS 36 and will report established the Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
That was all copied. We are cleared to descend 2,500 feet, which is set.
Checked.
And via the Tennessee 5 Charlie, we are cleared for the ILS 36.
Exactly.
Quebec, left turn to intercept the final inbound of 358.
That is correct.
Less than 70 degrees. On the approach mode, and that's approach FMS 2, which lock 2 with lock 2 and let's not right. Lock 2.
Check.
Manually 358 for the final inbound.
Check.
Alt S cap. Alt S. And we can select flap 1, please.
Flap 1 selected.
Thank you.
And the Baltic 6 Alpha 2 localizer established 36.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, contact tower 118.105 is Wabo.
118.105 for Baltic 6 Alpha 2, goodbye. Target Air Baltic 6 Alpha 2, ILS 36.
Baltic 6 Alpha 2, tower hello, wind 350 degrees 8 knots, run 26, you will land.
36 clear to land for Baltic 6 Alpha 2. Clear to land.
Thank you, excellent.
2500.
Checked. Select flap 3, please.
Flap 3 selected.
Select the gear down, please.
Gear down selected.
Flap 4.
Flap 4 selected.
Before landing checklist, please.
Before landing checklist, altimeters.
40 Alt land 2, altimeters are 1014. Again, land 2.
Okay, that might be it land.
Wheel. Disconnect the autopilot.
Go ahead.
Autopilot off.
Plus 100.
Contact, we clear the land.
Minimum. $100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, that's a little. Disconnecting the brakes. Storing numbers. Formats. Elements. You can take controls whenever you like.
My controls?
Your controls. All these numbers. Where's lower? How long will you remain on yours?
Yes, continue Delta Fox 102.
Delta Fox 102. Baltic 6 Alpha 2.
Okay, that's copied. Delta Fox 102 as briefed.
Exactly. So to the right side is free.
Left is free. And after landing procedure.
After landing.
APU whenever you're ready.
Cool. We'll do that. Views in start.
And maybe as a non-standard you can switch off the window heat.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. So Tongo coming up, left is free.
Yeah, I see that checked.
marshal are inside. You can
Hey,
switch off taxi light.
Taxi light is off.
Parking brake is set.
Excellent.
And the shutdown checklist.
We're good on the time, so no steering.
Off.
APU and or external power.
APU is on.
Left engine run.
Off.
The right engine run.
Off.
Seatbelts,
Off.
beacon.
Off.
Flight control tests.
We're actually not
It is
sure if
actually
the
applicable to us because the aircraft is only going out tomorrow morning.
Okay, then let's do
So
it.
we can actually do that.
I put the PTU and the 3B and 2B2 on.
There we are. Are you good to go?
Yep.
Fine. Flight control. And it is initiated. 50 seconds. We can in that time just put the transponder to standing.
And I think that's the time to say bye-bye to everybody who spent this time with us.
Yeah. So thanks to all of you for joining us today on this special flight to Dublin. We have definitely enjoyed that very, very much, and we hope you too. And yeah, hope to see you on one of our flights very soon.
You're very welcome.
Yes, and most welcome as a passenger joining us. Let us know if you're on board. Meet our flight attendants. Give us a message that you're there, and all the best to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Martin Gauss, the CEO, was speaking about HEPA filters. What the hell are HEPA filters? I wanted to know that a little bit better, and we just went out to the apron to our beautiful ride, and I met Mr. Loris Mikkelsons, Vice President Compliance and Safety, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, Patrick, thank you.
Hi Loris, thank
Hi.
you very much for taking the time. I was told that you might give us a little bit of an idea what HEPA filters are about, and maybe that you could also show us one.
Okay, well, especially for Air-Clips, we organized this opportunity to open up an aircraft forward cargo compartment, and we're going to show you where the high efficiency air particulate filters are located. And we will actually show you also a live sample of one.
Super.
So we'll access the panel. We have also technical department guys to help open it up for you.
Okay, cool.
Let's go inside the compartment and we'll see the filter.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go.
We are now showing you the new HEPA filter, what it looks like. This is the box it comes from the manufacturer. And this is high efficiency particulate air filter that is filtering the cabin air to ensure that you have the cleanest air available in passenger cabin. And this is the latest and greatest available in the aircraft industry currently. Especially for Air-Clips, we have removed this panel of the forward cargo compartment so that we can demonstrate the access to the HEPA filter of this Airbus 220. So this HEPA filter here that you see in the background is actually filtering 25% of the cabin air. The remaining air is taken from outside, so it's always fresh and you are getting the greatest cabin environment possible. Yeah, it's actually percentage of the fresh air is more than you get on other aircraft types, simply because this is so young design and has been really done to improve the air quality in passenger cabin. The air coming through the pipeline and the HEPA filters gets delivered to the passenger cabin from above these overhead compartments, and it's delivered flowing downwards. Then it's sucked in behind the wall panels so that actually air is delivered to you locally, and there is no air mixture overflowing between the passenger rows. So you are actually getting your air individually. It's being delivered to you and taken away from you individually. So there is no air mixture from between the passenger rows. Enjoy your flight with the fresh air on board Air Baltic. Thank you, AirClips.
Airclips.com